A murderer who has been on the run for 30 years learns to trust nothing. One day, on his way home, he sees a young woman casually touch her ear. That small movement is enough to alarm him. In his mind, it could be a signal. He decides to silence her. They enter the same apartment building. The girl steps into the elevator first. She has no idea that the man behind her has quietly taken out a knife. At that life or death moment, her father suddenly arrives. On the surface, he scolds his daughter, but as he does, he discreetly removes her earbuds and hands her a pair of earrings. Seeing her bare ears, the killer temporarily puts away his knife. Still, he suspects she might be an undercover cop. What troubles him more is that he lives in this building, yet he has never seen this father and daughter before. He presses the button for the first floor. He doesn't want to reveal where he lives, but he wants to personally see where they go. The older policeman senses the eyes behind him. He signals the younger officer to pick up a package as cover, using a special tool. He quickly picks the lock of an apartment door. This finally eases the killer's suspicion, for now. The notorious criminal known as Shadow was once a special forces soldier. In his early years, he committed robberies and murders. Rumor says the number of people he killed could be measured by the ton. Then, 20 years ago, Shadow suddenly disappeared. Some say he died, others say he quit. In reality, he moved behind the scenes. With the money he earned from crime, he adopted many children. But it wasn't kindness. Under the name of adoption, he was secretly building killing machines. He trained them the way special forces are trained. Over more than a decade, the wolf cubs grew into top-tier criminals. Some were skilled fighters, some became hackers, some were experts in disguise, some were masters of cross-dressing infiltration. Under Shadow, the Wolf King, them operating from behind the scenes, they committed crimes everywhere. Even the police seemed to be manipulated by them. But mistakes are inevitable. Gradually, Shadow noticed the children were no longer obedient. During one robbery, they unexpectedly discovered more than $10 billion worth of cryptocurrency. Greed made them defy Shadow's orders. They decided to take the risk and copy all the data before the police arrived. Shadow's bad premonition came true. Just as the wolf cubs succeeded, the police arrived at the scene, but trained by Shadow, the cubs handled themselves with ease. Even under police encirclement, they quickly confused the officers. Even the police captain was beaten badly. In the end, the police could only watch as they escaped from a 100-meter high building. Under Shadow's remote command, the wolf cubs escaped safely. They were thrilled. The money would be enough to last them 500 years. But the old Wolf King was furious. First, because they dared to disobey him. Second, because he himself had broken the rules. By principle, anyone exposed should be abandoned. Yet he risked himself to save them. Deep down, he had already begun to treat these tools as family. Shadow hoped his wolf cubs could safely continue as criminals. But he did not realize that among wolves there can be betrayal. One of them had already grown defiant. Because of breaking his own rule, Shadow also drew police attention. A veteran officer secretly formed a tracking team. After many twists and turns, they finally found Shadow's trail. Two officers disguised themselves as father and daughter to approach him, but Shadow was extremely alert after years of evasion. The moment the unfamiliar people appeared, alarms went off in his mind. He asked Simon, the hacker among the wolf cubs, to investigate them. Simon easily discovered their identities as police officers. But at that moment, a thought appeared in Simon's mind. Those who are exposed should be abandoned. After hanging up the phone, Shadow fell silent. He had already sensed something wrong with the father and daughter, but what hurt him more was the change in his children. Their ruthlessness was just like his own, yet for some reason, his heart ached.
我只是想把事情做对。
Soon, the wolf pack prepared for another robbery. Using the plan as an excuse, they drove Shadow to an orphanage, the place where they had grown up. It would also become the place where he was meant to die. Undercover police waited outside. Inside, dozens of killers were waiting for him. Shadow took a deep breath. Amid heavy bloodshed and screams, he faintly remembered teaching the children long ago. He once told them, "In this line of work, anyone exposed is a discarded piece and must be eliminated." Now he understood. He was the exposed one. Shadow's life was full of lies and schemes. But one thing was true. He was a legendary killer.
我成了孩子们眼中的笨蛋。不过，你得先要把我能做掉才行。老子是谁？
Dozens of assassins were cut down by him, as if he were chopping vegetables. His prowess had not faded, yet beneath the madness, what he released was not only anger, but sorrow. After the battle, Shadow was seriously injured, But he did not die more accurately. The current version of him died, and the past version lived again. He once more became the ruthless wolf he used to be. This time, the ones he would slaughter were the wolf cubs who betrayed him. Shadow voluntarily surrendered to the police. He said he could help them capture the wolf cubs, but in his heart, he was planning something even more ruthless.